March 1891, a colony of German Baptist Brethren, a pacifist denomination that emphasizes service and simple living, purchased 100 town lots and an empty hotel building in Lordsburg, California, a virtually deserted real estate development founded by I.W. Lord. Classes began in fall 1891 with 76 students who paid the princely sum of $11 tuition per term. The hotel was located where Wilson Library now stands, and here in the library is a photograph of the building, the college faculty, and most of the students about 1914. See, the La Verne College sign is still visible. The building contained the entire college for the next 35 years, with the exception of the women's housing. Here is a door and spindle recovered from the hotel building. Orange ranching was the area's dynamic new industry, so school colors soon became orange and green. The first period of the university's history, from 1891 until 1926, was dominated by agriculture and the Brethren Church. These illustrations of the four founders outside the president's office in Founders Hall suggest the early emphasis on values, community, learning, and service. Just as the orange trees seen here in Sneaky Park outside Wilson Library commemorate the citrus ranching that dominated the local economy for the next 65 years. At first, most of the students took high school coursework at Lordsburg Academy. Lordsburg College did not confer its first bachelor's degree until 1914. The City and College of Lordsburg became La Verne in 1917, and Miller Hall, seen here, the first building constructed for college work, opened as the women's dormitory and dining hall in September 1918. Founders Hall, seen here, followed in 1926, replacing the dilapidated wooden former hotel building as the one and only classroom, office, and library building. And this commenced the La Verne's second period, 1927 to 1968, a time when the school was a pacifist liberal arts college that emphasized teacher education. During this 40-year period, students became farmers, ministers, missionaries, small businessmen, housewives, and especially school teachers. La Verne's faculty and students were primarily members of the Church of the Brethren, as suggested by this cornerstone on Founders Hall. Smoking, dancing, and drinking were prohibited, and chapel was required. 4 of the 11 presidents from this period are remembered in halls: W.I.T. Hoover, W.C. Hanwalt, Samuel Miller, and Ellis Studebaker. 3 of those buildings can be seen here across 3rd Street from Founders Hall. The college struggled to survive during the Depression and World War, although President C. Ernest Davis raised funds to build Woody Hall in 1948, the first men's dormitory, seen here, now a Student Services Administration building. Under President Harold Fajnok, from 1948 to 1968, enrollment grew from 226 students to 619. Faculty with earned doctorates increased from 3 to 18. Campus buildings tripled from 4 to 12. That is to say, all the red brick halls seen here around the University Mall. The operating budget passed $1 million. That was in 1964. And La Verne achieved regional accreditation. In addition, graduate studies were introduced in 1961 and study abroad created, that is BCA, Brethren Colleges Abroad, in 1962. From 1891 until 1948, 57 years, La Verne graduated a grand total of 881 degrees, all of them bachelors. Then, from 1949 through 1948, President Fosnock's 20 years, it granted more than twice as many, 2,038, of which 16 were master's degrees. This beautiful court that you see around you was named in honor of Harold Fosnock and his wife, Ruth. When Dr. Fosnock retired, the board appointed Leland Newcomer president, and La Verne began a rapid increase in students and programming that inaugurated the third period of the university's history. President Newcomer added non-traditional students, off-campus programs, the College of Law, January interterm, Kappa, and the Super Tents, seen here today as the Sports Science and Athletics Pavilion and Daily Theater. These Teflon-coated campus buildings, the first in the nation, came to symbolize the new La Verne. New degrees proliferated, especially in professional areas at the master's level and off campus. La Verne's first doctoral program, the EDD, was established. In 1968, when Dr. Newcomer arrived, La Verne had 773 full-time equivalent students. Of those, 600 were in the bachelor's program and 133 were graduate. They were all on campus. They were mainly traditional age, white, and of Brethren heritage. 3 years later, 3 years after he came, the college enrolled 5,338 full-time equivalent students, 7 times as many as when he came, including 110 in law and 4,270 off-campus, non-traditional age students. In 1972, La Verne won its first national athletics championships, the NAIA Division III in baseball, commemorated here in a timeline of La Verne athletics that can be found in the Sports Science and Athletics Pavilion. President Armin Serafian, 1975 to 1985, made the college into a university in 1977. The last nearby citrus groves were subdivided around 1975, and 2 abandoned packing houses later became the La Verne Arts and Communications Building, seen here, and the second one became the Enrollment Management Central Services Building. The appointment of President Steve Morgan started the 4th period of institutional history, the period that saw the emergence of a truly comprehensive university. Dr. Morgan was president for 26 years, from 1985 to 2011. During his tenure, La Verne acquired the College of Law property in Ontario, campus west of the campus, and property both east of D Street and north of Bonita in La Verne. University advancement was enhanced in all 4 academic colleges created. Some 20 buildings were built, acquired, and or renovated, including the new campus center and renovated Hanawalt House, both seen here. And 27 degrees and 5 regional campuses were added. Faculty research became noteworthy, and La Verne received national recognition from both Forbes and U.S. News and World Report magazines as a Hispanic-serving institution. La Verne's full-time faculty nearly doubled to 212, and its operating budget grew by roughly $100 million. Dr. Devorah Lieberman, a recognized scholar and student of higher education, became president in 2011, and she immediately began to establish a national profile for the university with initiatives such as the La Verne Experience, and the 5th and current period of La Verne's history began. The La Verne Experience integrates best practice in higher education into the university's tradition of values, learning, and service, and it will be experienced by all students, undergraduate and graduate, at the main campus and at all regional campuses. A new strategic plan and master plan have been completed, and new degrees such as physician's assistant have been developed. The faculty has been expanded, and both teaching and research have been emphasized. Vista La Verne Residence Hall opened, and Campus West athletics fields inaugurated. Several national conferences were held at La Verne, such as the National Debate Conference in 2013. That brings us back to the spot where it all began, here in Wilson Library, the location of the original Lordsburg College building. These books, by former professors Gladys Muir and Herbert Hogan, as well as former university librarian Marlon Heckman, seen in the seminar room dedicated to Dr. Muir and Dr. Hogan, detail La Verne's long and proud commitment to values orientation, community and diversity, lifelong learning, and community service. The university looks forward to celebrating its 125th anniversary in 2016, when a new volume will trace the University of La Verne's continuing story of excellence. I'm glad that you're here to help extend that commitment.